It's a live stream. It's a live stream. It's a live stream. I'm doing a live stream. Yeah. Live stream. Doing the stuff and the things and the stuff and the things in the live stream. Yeah. I struggle with this every time. Got it. It's a live stream. It's a live stream. Doing the stuff and the things and the stuff and the things with the stuff and the things on a live stream. In the live stream. Slightly late, as always, in the live stream. One of these days, maybe I'll get better in the live stream, but not today, apparently. But as you know, I'm here. Live stream's here. I'm here. And yeah, we're doing great, doing fantastic, terrific, all around groovy, all day long. Yeah. And I actually have comments. I got quite a few comments the past few days or so that I want to respond to. A lot of preachy comments that I can actually respond to, and then maybe have videos of them or something to that extent. I don't know. Everything went down.
Everything went down.
Good. Hello. God is pursuing you, Drew, and he has much patience. He doesn't mind your endless attempts to disprove his existence. He created your intellect and expects you to use it to find truth. And that's the word, truth. He is truth. The best advice I can give you in this moment is don't settle for anything that doesn't really satisfy your soul. Like, there are lots of explanations out there of who God is or isn't, but just keep on asking that question. The same question you're currently asking about God. Actually, just keep asking that question about the other theories and beliefs you try out. Do I know this is true? Keep asking it and never be satisfied with anything but a deep, peaceful knowing that you've found the truth. God bless you, Drew. Hope this doesn't come off as arrogant or preachy. Not my intent. It's a little preachy, but I can tell it's, from like good heart. And then somebody commented, thanks for planting the seed. Yeah, planting the seeds of doubt. Hello. I don't believe I have a soul, nor do I believe I have any way to detect anything with my soul that I don't have. It's just, with a lot of these comments that I get, and with a lot of them that I'm going to read, the question becomes, how do I know your God is real? How do you know? Like, that's the question that I just a blanket question of just, we don't have any reason to believe that this God exists, or that, like, these things are true about this God. So it's like, do I know that it's true? Yes, keep asking questions. Ask questions, question everything. Everything that you could ever come across, question it. Even the answers that you get from your previous questioning. It's very important. But this whole, like, until your soul finds truth in God, because God is truth, and it's, I don't know. But apparently, according to this comment, God has patience, and he expects me to use my intellect and search for the truth. So apparently I'm doing fine. I'm doing great. So, like, God and me are cool, and surely if he's real, I'll find him, and he'll bring me back to him, and it'll be great. You in school? I am not. In my comment about Christians eliminating falsifiability, when they make the arguments like, if you pray and you get what you want, it's God. But if you pray and don't get what you want, it's not that God doesn't exist or anything, and his answer might just be no. Or if you leave Christianity and good things happen to you, it's because the devil's letting you be comfortable outside of Christianity. But if you leave Christianity and bad things happen to you, that's God punishing you. So no matter how you twist the story, or no matter what happens to you, they come up with a little narrative that can point back to God. That completely eliminates any testability or falsifiability of the claims, and therefore makes them completely useless. And somebody said, and I get comments like this often, I shouldn't need it. I'm at 40. I might need it eventually. I don't know. What are you at?
I was at 40, which is why I plugged it in.
We'll plug it in if I use it. And somebody commented, and I get a lot of comments saying this. Sorry, distractions everywhere. distractions everywhere. Everything is bad and bad. Muslims also do this. Don't say that only Christians do this, and so does any other person. I didn't say that only Christians did that. I just said it's something that Christians do that annoys me. And saying that any other person does it, like every other person does it, is kind of a broad claim that I don't know if you can really back up. But a lot of people question, why don't you speak out against Islam and all these other religions? Because Christianity is the religion that I have the most experience in, the most knowledge of. It's the one currently causing issues in the country that I live in. So it's just kind of my focus. I do talk about other things. It's like when people say, and people have these specific things, why don't you talk about the homeless issue? Why don't you talk about, starving kids in other countries? I do every now and then, but my main focus is Christianity. It's mostly what I'm going to tackle. And other people who have a little bit more expertise, not to say I have expertise in Christianity, but people who really know what they're talking about when these other topics, I'll leave that to them. This is my topic. It doesn't matter what topic you pick to focus on. Someone's always going to come out and say, well, why don't you focus on these other topics? You're not going to win. So it's just kind of whatever. Also, Muslims, or anyone who even looks Middle Eastern, let's be honest, get discriminated against in this country wrongfully a lot. And I don't really want to add to that by feeding that fire and teaming up with the Christians and talking against Islam with the other Christians. I don't really want to feed that unjust hatred going on in this country for anyone who looks Middle Eastern. So that's another reason. And I have some people in chat. Hello. I missed a few people in chat while I was rambling. My apologies. It's belief, truth, and justification that make knowledge. These are the premises: belief, truth, and justification. Justification for claims that demonstrate evidence, yes, would be important. I don't know what that big word is. What is Ultraman's name? I don't know what that is.
What in Ultraman's name?
What in Ultraman's name? Oh, hi, my name is Drew. I don't know if there is, is there no God? I don't know. There's a God, he's real. How do you know? What if someone was by the faith but chose to leave by choice? People do leave the faith. I left the faith. I have no problem believing in something greater than us. Sure. And what problem are we causing? I'll get back to that in just a second. I have so much shame from being gay due to my relationship with religion. It hurts my soul. I've been there too. It sucks. Hello. Truthfully, there are reasons and determine things, or at least try to be objective. You look like Ryan from The Office. Ryan started the fire, lost faith, then came back. Christ is king. I didn't vote for him. Problems that we're causing, pushing Christianity on the general public, forcing Bible studies in school, ignoring other Bible classes, and 10 Commandments being pushed in schools, ignoring any other religions or how uncomfortable it might make other people. Abortion rights, overturning Roe v. Wade was a big Christian movement. Going after people who just believe otherwise, just trying to push Christianity in the classroom, trying to attack the LGBTQ plus community, mostly in the name of Christianity. Just this move towards Christian nationalism that we're seeing in the country of you need to follow Christianity and the God of Christianity. I left it because I never understood the reason on why. The reason on why what? Good thing we're in a Christian country, not a Muslim country. This isn't a Christian country. Pushed in the classroom, are you off your rocker? No. What about gay and sexual immorality and fetishism being pushed on us? I don't want that forced on us. If they can push their sexual doctrine, then we can push Christianity. The fact that you're calling it sexual doctrine and fetishism and stuff means that you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Gay people and trans people exist. It's a fact. And letting people know, including children, that gay and trans people exist is nice. Not only does it just create more understanding and equality and love for your fellow human, and this helps eliminate ignorance and bigotry, but it also helps kids who might be gay or trans to see, hey, this is a thing, and you're normal, and that's okay. Because I didn't get that. I'm pansexual and non-binary, and I got, hey, if you have same-sex attraction, Satan is whispering in your ear trying to tear you away from God. That's fun. That's traumatizing for a kid. So it's not trying to push anything sexual. Nobody is teaching kids anything. If anyone's teaching little kids anything, it's that Timmy has two dads. That's it. Just like Susie has a mom and a dad. That's it. That's as far as it goes. It might get into the more sexual stuff briefly once you get to sex education level, which sex education is very important, actual sex education, but even that doesn't go into very great depth. So it's just inclusivity. It's just eliminating bigotry and hatred and ignorance on a topic. Can the gays make babies? Homosexual people can make babies. There are ways. It is a shame that this is the major view of Christianity, as I know plenty of Christians who are not near as forceful. How far the word of Christ has truly fallen. Yeah, I actually have a video that I'm working on. I'm working on the notes for the video. I haven't started filming it, about how the world would be a better place if Christians were better Christians. If Christians actually followed the Bible better, the world would be a better place. I still think the world would be a better place if everyone, one by one, gradually abandoned Christianity and let it peacefully and gently drift into the realm of mythology where it belongs and can't hurt anybody. I think that would be the best overall, but it would be better than what we have now if people would at least follow Christianity as presented in the Bible. But that's not what we get. Christians hate the sin, not the sinner. Sure. I like dinosaurs. Please forgive me if I skip some comments. Chat's moving kind of fast. That's a very communist point of view. What's a very communist point of view? I agree with you. Most Christians now do not follow the original teachings of Christ. Yeah, that's pretty great. Breeding stops at the gays? Not necessarily. We all suffer affliction, spiritual oppression. How do you know any of that's true? We're talking about sin and what God doesn't like or anything. Why should I believe any of that? Why should I believe that God is real? Why should I believe that this is how he wants to see the world? Why should I believe anything? This actually isn't a new shirt. I've had it for a while. Maybe I don't wear it in live streams very often.
I don't think you do.
No? I just not wear this one? This is one of my favorites. Why don't I wear this more?
I think you just usually end up wearing a different shirt.
I think you're right. Interesting.
I think you wear
Islam is the truth? I don't believe that either.
regular pumpkin shirt more than the dark
I think
pumpkin
I
shirt
do.
vibes.
Or the more elaborate ones I really like to wear.
Uh-huh.
Don't do that. You can't prove he isn't real either. I don't need to disprove something that hasn't been proven to begin with. I just need to point at the fact that there's no reason to believe in it, and then I just don't have reason to believe in it. The burden of proof's not on me. It's on the person making the claim that something is real. If you can't back that claim, I'm not going to believe that claim, and that's where we're at. Blessed are those who believe and have not seen. Yeah, little bits plugged into the Bible. Don't trust the ways of the world, trust in me. Don't lean on your own understanding, lean on my understanding. Blessed are those who have not seen but still believe. Just little ways to kind of get you to tunnel vision on Christ. Don't worry about anything else. Don't think about anything else. You know, just don't worry about evidence or anything. Just faith. Just have trust in God. God's real. God's real. Just focus on that. God's real. Christ is real. That's the message. Don't look at anything else. There's little things woven into the Bible here and there like that that help keep people in the fold, and also help them distrust anything outside the fold that could save them from the fold. Do you believe that Muhammad came with the same message as Christ? Assuming they're both figures that existed, sure, but I don't believe in like that they were anything supernatural or divine or anything, assuming they both existed. Either the Bible is true or it isn't. Not necessarily. I mean, I guess you could say either the whole thing is true or it isn't, but that's not necessarily the same thing as saying, and maybe this isn't what you're saying, that, you know, either the whole Bible is true or the whole Bible isn't true. I think there are some truths in the Bible. I think the Bible at best would probably be a work of historical fiction, taking things that actually happened and putting some mythical twist on it. So there could be truths and not, and there's also just like shit in the Bible that can like be good advice or whatever. So it's not necessarily, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this is what you were saying, that it either is completely true or either completely false. So is there no God? I don't know. Jesus was a human scapegoat. Maybe. I'm a eunuch for the kingdom, glory to Jesus. Okay. Jesus is the true bright and morning star, root and offspring of David, star and shield of David's Jacob's ladder. Prove that he's real, or that I should care. Then explain to me. I was actually gonna read a bunch of comments that I got, but I guess we're reading chat, which is fine with me. I was expecting like, my live streams don't usually move this fast, so I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna like try to like read chat, but like, or read comments, but y'all showed up. Thank you. Then explain to me how it's existed all throughout time in many different cultures for 2,000 plus years. If it's not true, then why is it still around? Judaism is older than Christianity, and it's still around. Other religions and ways of beliefs and thinking are still around. And just because, regardless, just because a belief prevailed doesn't mean it has to have been true, especially when you think about how much manipulation and indoctrination and bloodshed went into spreading Christianity as far as it has been spread now. You know, it's just kind of persevered, and it earned a spot on one of the top religions, whether it deserves that spot or not. Also, explain to me why is there why is there 3 to 4 billion Christians in the world who believe in Christ? Why there are 3 to 4 billion Christians in the world who believe in Christ? I kind of want to check that number. It would come down to the ad populum fallacy. It doesn't matter how many people believe in something, that doesn't necessarily make it true. But does half the world believe in Christianity? I mean, it's pretty big. It wouldn't be completely surprising. How many Christians in the world? How many Christians are in the world? Just scrolling through a Google search page, 2.3, 2.4 billion Christians worldwide. So you shot a little bit higher, but 2 billion is still a pretty good number. About 2.5 billion, still a pretty big number. Still a pretty big percentage of the global population. So it doesn't take too much thunder away from your argument, but it does become the ad populum fallacy. The majority of the people in the world used to think that the earth was flat and that it was the center of the universe, and that slavery was okay. And no, to all of those. So it doesn't really work. You don't need it?
I'm about 80 now.
Okay.
I'm good.
The ad populum fallacy sounds like cope. It's a logical fallacy, and logical fallacies exist for a reason because they're arguments that just don't work when you think about it. Like for reasons that I just gave. A lot of people, even the majority of people on the planet, can believe something that's wrong. It comes down to the why. Why should we believe it? The earth is the boundary between hell and heaven, apparently. Something like that. Somewhere in the middle, according to Christian belief. To believe in or to believe Jesus is different. Sure. That's a lot of Christians in the world, dude. I was a little off, but still quite a lot. Yeah, I said that. Is there a lag? Because I said that. Hold on.
There is a lag.
There's a small lag. But I said that. I'm sorry if you reject logical fallacies, but they exist. They've been established for a reason. So I got a question. Why is there evil? A question for me. Why is there evil? Because people do stuff. Good and bad in the world. There's a lot of people in the world that do a lot of stuff. You know, that's also another thing. What if the earth is flat? Who cares if it's flat or round? It doesn't matter. It's just how it was created. I said that to point out that people can be wrong. Even the majority of Earth's population can believe in something and be wrong. That's what I'm saying. It also does matter for a few reasons whether the Earth is flat or round, because it helps with our understanding of the universe and how to work things like satellites and whatnot. It might not be too important to like the average everyday human, but like in the realm of science, it's kind of important.
Was that a good itch? Huh?
You think 2 to 3 billion people in the world are believing in a false narrative or false doctrine? Make that make sense to me. They can be, yeah. I mean, what if the majority of people on the planet think murder is okay? Is murder then okay? No. Because morality, I mean, morality is a whole different topic. But typically with secular morality, we've developed a system of morals and ethics over time throughout human existence on the planet. As we learned how to deal with one another and how to work together for the betterment of a society and people within that society, including ourselves. And it's a system roughly based on, yeah, I'm sorry about the lag. It's a system roughly based on overall human well-being and health and happiness and stuff. So with the system that we have set up, that we've figured out for morality, yes, murder would completely go against that. It would be against the overall well-being of individual humans. Not, overall well-being for the population. It's not a situation of like sacrifice this half to save this half or anything, but the well-being of individual peoples overall in the population, all the individual peoples. So why don't you believe in Jesus? There is a reason or no? I don't see a reason. Surrender, humble yourself. Hello. I don't feel the need to. Imperfection leads to room for connection, and it takes courage to get there. Also, if anybody puts in something in chat that I don't read, and you want to you want me to see it, but I miss it, go ahead and just put it again. And I'll probably see it because chat is kind of moving and I'm trying to think. And right now, I've gotten 3 more chats just in the time that I'm explaining this. So it's just hard for me to keep up sometimes. So if I miss your chat or anything, just go ahead and put it again and I'll try to get to it. Don't ask me what I'm going to do if I ever become an actual YouTuber with a flowing chat. I'll probably just ignore chat, honestly. We'll see when we get there. I will be struggling. I get what you're saying about flat earth and round earth. Whatever. Either way, it doesn't matter. Truth matters, I think. But we can be wrong. Hello again. But I'm just saying, some people can be wrong about something. The entire population can be wrong about something. Aren't secular humanists just contrived of a bunch of individuals with a subjective metric of morality according to oneself? No, I just explained the secular moral worldview. That's why Jonah went to the people of Nineveh. I'm sorry, I missed the context of that. You have to base objective morality on something in humans. Can't be the one to do that because if a group of people think murder is okay, then murder is okay, but it's not. Just overall, we've come up with this system of morality. Yeah, there is no objective moral standard. Even if there is a God, it's just subjective based on what he thinks is right and wrong. So even then, it doesn't really matter. Maestro, I don't know why you have a check mark, honestly. I have no idea who you are, but hi. I thought you had a check mark for a different reason. Well, you're falling victim to the majority fallacy. Not necessarily. Because the system of morality is based on society. It is based on stuff that we came up with. It's not like, is there a God, is there not a God? Is the earth flat or is the earth round? Where there's just like, that's like objective truth that, you know, it doesn't really matter what we think. It's either is or is not true. And when we can have debates on why we should believe or not believe, but those are set things. Morality is a little bit different. Morality is a social construct. So that gets a little bit more into what everybody thinks, what the society thinks about it. So not quite the same thing. If God created right and wrong, how is it subjective? It's subjective to God. It's just God's subjective opinion. It's God doing what people accuse people like me of doing. People say, well, without a God, your morality is just whatever you feel like. No, it's not, because of what I've been explaining. But with God, if there is a God, morality's whatever he feels like. It's his subjective morality. Just like we can't prove or disprove that there is a creator of the cosmos, you can't prove or disprove that everything exploded from nothing either. Everything exploding from nothing is not a thing put forth by science. So, sure. I'm pretty sure we can disprove that, though, how you worded it. It's called the Big Bang Theory. Yeah, it's not everything exploding from nothing. That's everything expanding out from a singularity. And we do have evidence for that. If that was the case, if you're consistent in the fallacy, if we as a whole agree that murdering children brings us joy, do we then submit to this set of objective metrics? I would certainly hope not, but you might be onto something. If humans are all in charge, then maybe. But I hope we would never come to that. Because you have to understand, there's also a little bit of selfishness when it comes to secular morality. Because what is allowed to be done unto others can also then be done unto you. Do you, as a child, want to be murdered? Do you want your children to be murdered? No. So let's not support a society where child murder is okay. Let's fight back against a society where let's work to build a society where child murder is okay. It's similar things to just any murder. If you don't want to be murdered, I don't want to be murdered. Let's build and or support a society where murder is illegal. Same thing with theft or anything else. It's part of how we built this moral system.
Do you want to know how good I got her some scratches on her? She was literally
She does that. I have a kitten. You want to say hi to the people? I don't know if the people can see you. I don't want to lift you up too much.
Too. We both got kitties.
I can just move the phone. Oh, don't fall phone. It's a kitten.
It's a kitty.
And then my wife has another kitten.
Hello.
Anyway. I just messed up the phone. Anyway, back to chat. Sorry, I've missed probably a lot. Why are we arguing in the first place? Great question. You know, even if there's not gonna do an afterlife, this is a bad way of wasting. I don't think so. I'm gonna miss so many comments. I'm so sorry. If I missed your chat, please just put it again. If evolution and the Big Bang Theory are true, then I think there was an intelligent designer behind it. You can think that, but just because you don't understand something, that doesn't mean it has to have been from a creator or anything. That's not how things work. And that line of thinking has failed us many times in the past, where we used to attribute things like insect swarms, natural disasters, diseases, the changing of seasons, eclipses, all these things to supernatural things because we didn't understand what was happening. I don't know what's happening, therefore it must be something divine or supernatural. Now we have better, natural, credible, evidence-based explanations for these things that do not invoke the divine. So that line of thinking of, I don't know what it is, therefore it must be divine, has failed us many, 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 many times. And that pocket of, I don't know, therefore something divine or magical, has been shrinking more and more and more as we learn more about the universe around us. So it just doesn't really work. Oh wait, I don't think I believe that. Okay. If a rock is beautiful, that does not mean that there is a creator. No. I am lost in chat. Are you living your life with Jesus' words in your heart? Can't say that I am. How can something come from nothing? Nobody's saying that that happened. How can we live in this finely tuned universe, expansive universe, without a creator, of designer that makes... I'm sorry.
Or designer. Make that make sense.
Creator or designer, make that make sense. Okay. You put of instead of or, and I can't read, so it just cancels out the whole thing. Nobody's claiming that everything came from nothing. Because what is nothing? What can nothing do? As soon as you put any kind of attributes towards nothing, it stops being nothing. So nobody is seriously saying that everything came from nothing. At least nobody that you should take seriously. And fine-tuned gets kind of into the puddle analogy. Basically, if a pothole on the road gets filled with rainwater and that puddle that forms in the pothole gains sentience, it might think, oh, this pothole was made perfectly for me. It's just, everything's perfect. Whereas, in reality, the hole was not made for the puddle. The puddle was formed to fit the shape of the hole. The universe is old, it's big, it's full of stuff, and it does a lot of stuff, and we don't understand it all. But that doesn't mean there's a God. There's a lot of stuff that can happen, and it kind of seems like we're just a natural product of the universe, and just because we don't understand it doesn't mean there has to have been a God. Because, I mean, I agree with you. How did all this get here? How are we here? How did life come about? How did intelligent life? It's weird. It's crazy. I completely get you there. But just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it has to have been something divine. That's just not how it works. You think the Empire State Building just appeared out of nowhere like the entire cosmos did? No, it had to be created. We understand how things like buildings or cars or phones or whatever are made. Humans come up with an idea and they craft that idea and then we mass produce and market that and it all takes off. But we can map out the entire process of designer, building, thing being constructed. We can map out that entire process. We can see it. We can't see that with a God. We don't have that. We understand that buildings don't spawn in naturally in the same way planets or humans do. We understand that that's I'd say human design, but I mean, I'm sure if any other intelligent species came about, they could probably make buildings too. But for now, it's more of a human thing. We can see that is intelligent designed thing, front to back. There's my third cat destroying my couch. We can't see that with the cosmos. Silene, I'm having issues just keeping up with your chats. I am woefully behind on everybody else. Flavius Josephus, a Jewish historian, and Tacitus, a Roman historian, both mention Jesus in their writings. So Jesus exists and not made up, and Jesus is technically God in accordance with John 1. So, a couple things. Jesus existing does not necessarily mean that anything in the Bible about him being divine or anything is true. So just because these guys say, like, hey, he existed, doesn't mean that therefore we can trust the Bible in saying that he's divine. Also, however the story of Jesus came about, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I just checked it.
Okay. However the story of Jesus came about, it came about. Even if someone completely made it up out of nothing. I don't really believe that. But even if somebody did completely make it up out of nothing, the story still came about. So the fact that other people heard the story, I mean, at least 2.5 billion people in the world today have heard the story. So that doesn't really do much for me. Of like people saying like, hey, that dude existed. Or, I've heard stories of this dude. Because those weren't first-hand eyewitness accounts. They're just like, hey, I heard about this dude that existed. That doesn't really get us anywhere. Jesus is a human from the divine creator. How do we know? You think that the entirety of the Bible is all made up and false? No, I didn't say that. I said the opposite of that earlier. You think just people made that up without some divine influence? You think it's all just fake? No. Also, do you think when we die, we just die and that's it? Because if that's the case, then what's the point of living? One point of living is to not die, because if there's no afterlife, and when we die, everything's just gone and that's over, I'm not rushing out the door anytime soon. That's more motivation to make the most out of this life while I'm here, to the best of my ability, and to make sure that other people are able to make the most out of this life while they're here, because that's only fair. And make sure we set up future generations to do the same, just like past generations have set us up to enjoy life, some better than others, to enjoy life to a better quality and as best as we can. So there's more earnesty to life and what we do with this finite life if there's nothing else. Jesus actually existed as a historical figure. Jesus actually existed as a historical figure in person that actually physically walked the earth, right? Sure. You look so feminine. Stop. It's not a story. It's true. It's his story. Okay. I don't believe that it's all true. What if the Bible is true? What are you to lose? What if the Bible is true? What are you to lose? If the Bible is true, if I die one day and I'm face to face with the Christian God, I'm going to have a lot of questions that are going to need a lot of good answers before I even think about bowing, because the God of the Bible is kind of a monster. My grandfather existed and walked the earth, but he ain't God. Yeah. There's been a lot of people who have walked the earth, or supposedly walked the earth, or there's stories of people walking the earth, who claim to be something else. Something, you're looking at something, what?
I was just seeing the difference in the lag.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good.
You were like,
sorry.
you were like inquisitively looking at something.
Yeah, I'm differentiating.
But yeah, like,
Differences in the lag.
what do you say about, if Jesus says he walked the earth and therefore, Christianity has to be true and whatnot, what do you say about Muhammad? What do you say about Arjuna and Krishna, if I'm pronouncing that first name right? What do you think about, none others come to mind, but other religions, other figures of other religions that have come about, and other stories that have been made? It would have been forgotten throughout, it would have been forgotten about throughout history. Judaism wasn't forgotten, Buddhism wasn't forgotten, even Greek and Roman mythology wasn't forgotten. We just, most people see that as mythology nowadays, but there are some people who still believe in the Greek or Roman pantheons. Other beliefs haven't died out either. And also, just because it's the one that prevailed does not make it true. I've still yet to see any actual reason to believe any of this stuff.
I love how Bob was like, do it again.
The pottery cannot tell the potter anything. Yes, the fuck I can. As the clay that's being abused and seeing other clays being abused, yeah, I can say, hey, asshole, chill out. I think I have that right. Those who believe in God should not follow blindly, for you might find yourself lost in opinions of an old age. Simply put, we should learn from our past, not follow it. Maybe. So basically, John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word is Jesus, which clearly proves that Jesus is God. You can read. I know that the Bible makes claims. I'm trying to figure out why I should believe those claims. Jesus was a historical figure, an actual person that existed, born in Bethlehem. All of that there is historical accounts and documents about him actually existing. Okay. If it wasn't Christianity, everyone on earth would be Muslim. If it wasn't for Christianity, everyone on earth would be Muslim. Would Islam really have come about as it is if it wasn't for Christianity? Because even Christ is mentioned in the Quran and is mentioned as a prophet in the Quran. So, I don't know. Or would some other branch off religion have sprouted up and taken Christianity's place? Maybe it would have been Islam. It would have just been a tiny bit different.
I think it's exactly.
Because they don't, the Quran doesn't like lean heavily on the New Testament. So maybe some version of Islam would be here, or some other religion. What's the view on solipsism? Can't really prove it or disprove it. Just can't really do anything with it. So, it's one of those good for like philosophical thought, good for like, those bong rip theologies or whatever. You can sit be like, dude, what if like we're all brains in a vat, and like it's fun and whatnot, but in terms of reality and what we can test and what we can verify, we got nothing on it. So, whatever. If we just die when we die, cool, there is no reason to believe in Jesus. But if that's not the case, I'm going out believing in that. Not taking that chance. It's 50-50 chance of it being true or not. Yes, 50-50, but also no. Because that's not really how it works. Because it's not necessarily... It is, is Christianity true or is it not? But then, like, what if Islam is true? What if Hinduism is true? What if we all die one day and we're face to face with Zeus? Then neither of those options that you presented, Christianity being true or there not being a God, neither of them are correct. So it's just like we're both fucked. Like if you and I die and we're face to face with Zeus, we're both fucked. So it's not necessarily the 50-50 that you might think. How many generations does it take to be an American citizen? That's a question that they're trying to ask, isn't it? They're trying to get to the bottom of that. Fucking dicks. What if you should, could, would, not a good basis of a question? Yeah. The fool says in his heart there is no God. Another little plug-in woven into the Bible to help people distrust the outside world and help people stay tunnel visioned on religion. It's good for manipulation and whatnot, but it doesn't really get me anywhere in terms of evidence. Buddha is one of the greatest persons to walk the earth after Morgan Freeman. Maybe. Buddhism's not the worst among them. What are your thoughts on the Gestapo Rainbow Reich? Explain what that is to me. I've missed that. The world passeth away and the lust thereof. One of these days it will. I saw a chat and then chat moved. Trying to read people's chats. Because either it's true or it's not. That's it. It's that simple. Yes, but Christianity and atheism are like the only two options. That's exactly how it works. Actually, either you die, and that's it. That's exactly how it works. Either you die, and that's it. There's nothing, or there's an afterlife. Either we die, and there's nothing, or there's an afterlife. It's one of the two. Sure, either there's something after this life, or there's not. But that possibility of something after this life isn't limited just to Christianity. Other religions exist with their afterlives, and other ideas of afterlives exist. That's where faith comes into play. Play with your what if questions. Faith is an unreliable path to the truth. I can use faith to justify anything. I can have faith that this mouse is going to turn into a unicorn one day and carry me off to Valhalla. Plenty of people believe in all kinds of stuff based simply on faith. Faith is what you plug in when you don't have any actual reason or evidence to believe in something. It's useless. It gets us nowhere. Doesn't tell us anything about what is true or what is not. It is just simply, I believe in this because this, and I'm going to keep believing in it despite any evidence because I have faith. That's what it is. I need a second to talk to you. I'm here. The biggest lie Satan ever told humanity was getting humans to not believe in him or God. Prove it. Prove it. As a lawyer, I am atheist because if any religion is true, then I am going to the bottom of the hell. Maybe. You believe in Jesus Christ? I don't have an issue with the idea that there was a dude named Jesus who, or something that we've translated into Jesus, that there was a dude who existed, made some claims, gained a following, and got executed. I don't have any issues believing in that. It's happened. It happens. Religious figures, cult leaders, whatever else, spiritual leaders have risen up all throughout human history and had stuff happen to them and had followings or whatever else. So I don't really have an issue with that. As far as like him being anything divine or like legit or special or whatever, from any divine sense, not really. So for you to believe, you need God to show up in front of you. Hey, I'm real. That's it. That's what would convince you to believe, because that's not how it works either. I don't even know if that would convince me to believe. Because how do I know I'm not hallucinating? How do I know it's not a hologram? How do I know it's, there's other natural explanations as to why I might be seeing something. Well, I hope you get blessed. Maybe. But you have no epistemic foundation to not, for example, of the hypothetical to sleep with your adult twin brother. You have no epistemic foundation to not, for example, of the hypothetical, to sleep with your adult twin brother. Incest is bad. Allowing incest opens the door for grooming kids, which is terrible. It also fucks up with DNA when you have offspring, and causes more birth defects and birth issues and issues with your offspring. It's just generally frowned upon. It's just generally not a good idea, just about any way you look at it, and should be avoided. And that's stuff that's based on truth and fact and studying and stuff that we can actually see. Take a breath. Chat stopped for a minute. Goodness me. Just like that, 50 minutes have gone by. Thank you guys for showing up and for having conversations. Right, and that's where those other religions' faith come into play. My religion being a follower of Christ. Hello. Right, and that's where those other religions' faith comes into play. My religion being a follower of Christ. Right, it's how you channel your faith. If you want to channel your faith into the mouth, then by all means, I choose to channel my faith into Christ. Well, why? If you want to choose your faith channel your faith, and when you die, you go to Valhalla and you're carried out by a Valkyrie. Cool, that's your faith. But we're talking about truth. We're talking about what is real and how should I know. We're talking about why should I believe in various things, claims, and the whatnots. It's not a reliable path to the truth, is the point I'm making. So what does it do for me? I want to know if a God is real. I want to know if a God is real. And faith does not get me there. That's how faith works. That's the definition of faith. We don't know it to be true or not. That's where faith comes into play. Right, so it's not a reliable path to the truth. Nothing in the Bible says that Satan doesn't want people to believe he exists. That came from a 1996 movie. You know, a lot of stuff about Christianity was just kind of added in afterwards. It's fine. Faith is the absence of fact. Is the absence of fact. You're proving it to be my right now. You've proven it to me right now. You don't believe. Okay? Yeah, you can have faith in whatever you want, but that doesn't make that thing true. If I have faith in Valhalla, I don't know if I'm actually going to be carried away by a Valkyrie or whatever after I die. That doesn't like make that a thing. That doesn't establish that that's factually a thing that's going to happen as soon as I die if I believe in Valhalla. That it doesn't get us anywhere to truth. I want truth. I want reason to believe. I want to know what the truth is. Notice, chat, he didn't answer the question and refused to engage with the hypothetical. Two consenting adults of the same sex engaged in incest. Why, from your worldview, is that bad? I answered that question. First off, I've already said multiple times that I might not get to everybody in chat because chat's kind of moving and I'm trying to interact with other people. I might miss people. If I miss your chat, feel free to put it again. I've said that a couple times so that I can hopefully see it. So I've already talked about the possibility of me accidentally missing chat and what you can do if I miss your chat. But also, I answered that question. So if you don't like the answer, we can talk about it, but don't just say I didn't answer the question. But you can't admit there was something different about Jesus compared to all the other cult leaders, religious leaders, or whatever you're saying. Obviously, there's something different about Jesus. Sure. The fact that an idea prevails and is one of the prevailing ideas in the world doesn't make it true. Dude, the cope inside of you is absolutely insanely hilarious to me. The cognitive dissonance is wild. How is it cognitive dissonance? I'm thinking similar things about you. So maybe we're just kind of at an impasse. What about gay incest? That's bad too. Incest is bad. Yes. I said that. Like, how are we going to ask a question? And I kind of feel like, Silent, you've done this a couple times too. How are you going to ask me a question and then not listen when I answer the question and then get on me about not answering the question? Or like ignore it and continue on as if I didn't answer the question. Like, I'm doing my best here. And if it doesn't resonate with you, if it doesn't get through to you, it doesn't, you know? I don't think I'm going to convince anybody in a hour or so long live stream. But we're just talking about stuff, you know? Patting ideas around. Why should we believe? That's what we're talking about here. Okay, you said they'll have incest babies. They can't. They're in the same sex relationship. You mentioned power dynamics. All relations have power dynamics. One is always more dom than the other. I didn't say anything about power dynamics. But also, even if they can't reproduce, there is still room for stuff like grooming. And it's just a topic that we want to avoid. We don't want to open doors of like, hey, incest is okay in these certain scenarios, because that does let in things like grooming, lets in things, at least for opposite sex couples, you know, incest babies, things like that. But even same-sex couples, there's still issues with that. What's going on? Stuff. You're welcome. I've enjoyed the discussion. I've enjoyed it as well. I know I'm getting a little heated because it's like it's a passionate, fun topic overall. I try to like kind of like keep myself down and not come out as like an asshole or anything, but I do. I'm not always good at it. I'm working on it. So forgive me if I come across as like too much or anything. But I do enjoy these. It begs the question, why though? Is it because Handsome Drew says so? Really, bro? It's just stuff that we figured out over time. I haven't really studied all the ins and outs of incest, I'm going to admit. I haven't. But I gave 2 pretty good reasons as to why we just shouldn't do it. Also, keep in mind, we haven't explored as a society gay incest as much, because we as a society haven't been wanting to explore gay very much. But I still think that the grooming issues and other manipulation issues can definitely be in play, even with same-sex incest. That's the point of faith. It's just believing. That's it. It's not what it does for you. It's what it does for him. It's not what it does for you. It's what it does for him. How do I know it does anything for him? I think you look more Jesus than Jesus himself. I need more beard. Whatever, bro, if you say so, Mr. You. Maybe I just need to go back to my longer hair. I didn't really have my beard very often when I had my longer hair. Yeah, Roman King, I'm sorry if I couldn't do anything else for you. If I failed. My apologies. That's the point of faith, dude. Do you not understand that? I'm trying to find truth. I'm trying to see, why should I believe in something? How do I know something is real? That's what I'm trying to get to. I can understand that there are different, within the concept of Christianity, within this idea that there is a God out there and whatnot, there are different uses for faith, but that doesn't help me. Oh my God, dude. You still don't see or understand what you're saying. Your cognitive dissonance is bad. That's the entire point of faith, is going into the unknown. I want evidence. I want evidence. And faith doesn't get it. I understand, faith is like it's that leap of faith. It's that deep dive into the unknown. It's that I don't know if there's a God, but like I really feel it, so I'm gonna have faith and I'm just gonna go for it wherever it leads. I get that, but like I don't want that blind leap of faith. I want to make sure there's stepping stones there or something real. I want to make sure there's something real there. Sorry, my brain went for a second. The belief in God is there. The belief of God is there is something greater than us. The truth is there is a universe. The evidence is that we can see pictures of the universe outside of our world. Yeah, we know the universe is there. I'm trying to make sense of what you said, True. There is something, the belief in God is there is something greater than us. The truth is there is a universe. The evidence is that we can see pictures. Yeah, we can observe the universe, which arguably is greater than us. There's a reason why he's the most controversial figure in the world. There's something different about him. Different doesn't mean God, though. Different doesn't mean God. There are other religions and other religious figures who are unique and who are controversial and whatnot. Also, Christianity is controversial because it kind of likes to start shit throughout human history. Even within the Bible, Jesus came and started shit with the Jewish community, and it's one of the things that got him executed. It's the thing that got him executed, is because he came in right out the gate and wanted to start shit. So there's that. I've seen so many debates between secular humanists versus religion, and 9 out of 10 times the secularist gets destroyed. It's an adorable attempt to make us go with your system. You know, I mostly watch atheist content creators. And a lot of the times I'll see the atheist destroying the Christian. And then I'll look over at other channels, Christian channels, and they'll just have like clips and stuff of Christians destroying atheists. So I try to spread out. Maybe I'm still stuck in one biased half, but I try to spread out. I don't see the 9 out of 10 times secularists getting destroyed. Maybe you need to branch out and look at more stuff, get a bigger pool of, a bigger sample pool. But sure. Do you believe in Jesus and his miracles? Not his miracles. I don't have an issue, like I said, with believing that there was a dude who existed, made some claims, gained a following, and got executed. I don't have an issue believing in that, but other than that, I don't know. Why should you not believe? What do you have to lose? What are you going to lose if you choose to believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior of humanity? What do you got to lose? My life. You're asking me to completely submit the entire life, the only life that I know I get, to this system of beliefs that has restrictions, that has what I believe to be immorality. It just, why should I believe that? Why should I confine myself to a system of beliefs? Why should I believe it? Because if it's wrong, I have my entire life to lose. And if I'm wrong, if Christianity is wrong and there's no afterlife or anything, then I have thrown away my entire existence on this system of beliefs. That's what I would have to lose. That's what I have to lose. Drew, you're very wise, and I greatly appreciate you sharing your knowledge. Well, thank you. I don't completely agree with you, but thank you. Yeah, I'm having fun with this. I'm just laughing over here. This is fun for me. But Christ is king. I'm a dirty, rotten, center hypocrite. But I still believe in Jesus. I mean, I didn't call you a hypocrite, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Have I seen you? Your name actually does look familiar. Have I seen you in other comment sections or chats? Have you been around before? Silent is just a blind follower of Christ? Maybe. Maybe we should be. What have you got to lose one day if you just open your Bible and read it and pray a little bit for wisdom? What are you going to... I've read the Bible multiple times. And I have an audiobook of it that I listen to on an almost daily basis. So I've read it a few times, and I've listened to it a couple more times. Lost my train of thought. It just goes. I used to be a devout Christian the first 20 plus years of my life. I was dedicated to the Christian faith, dedicated to Christ, dedicated to God. I prayed to him throughout the day, every single day, to make sure my steps were aligning with his path. And I thought I was receiving different signs and whatnot to help guide me in the right path. I wanted to become an apologist, to go and spread God's light, love, and message throughout the whole world if I could, or at least as far as I could. And it was diving into my studies to do that that ultimately led me away from religion and faith and all of that stuff. And I eventually became an atheist. It was diving into scripture, church history, other religions, their scriptures, their history, scientific explanations for things, arguments for and against the existence of God. Basically what you would see on a debate stage. Because I got to be ready for the debate stage. So I studied that. And at least for me, and for a lot of people who have done this, and I'm not saying this as a blanket statement, but for a lot of people who have done this, when you really dive into studies like that, you kind of peek behind the curtain. You kind of see the man behind the curtain, and you see what's really going on behind the scenes. And you see that, hey, maybe this isn't anything magical or divine. Maybe I don't have reason to believe in this. Maybe this religion is actually kind of messed up, and other religions are the same way. So you start to have doubts. And slowly, over the course of about 7 years, I drifted away from the faith and became an atheist. And here I am. Are you so prideful of yourself and think so highly of yourself you can't humble yourself to accept some humility and just read the Bible and pray? Yeah, I've done it. Sorry, dude, that's not how it works. Faith is an evidence. Faith is faith believing in the evidence that it's potentially there. That's it. That's all you can do. Sorry, that's not how it works. So faith is just looking at stuff that's not actual evidence and accepting it as evidence is kind of what I heard. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends. If you like this video, make sure you hit that, I don't even fucking know.
Hit that follow button.
Hit that follow button. Hit that bell icon to receive notifications. Does anyone actually receive notifications from the content creators? I hate getting notifications about anything. Anything at all. So I never have notifications. Like, I scroll through social medias on a regular basis. If my favorite content creator posts something, I'll see it. I don't need to get a message on my phone telling me that. But if you want that from me, go ahead and hit the bell, I guess. I don't fucking know. You do you. Choosing to believe in something that you believe to be as true as putting your faith in something. Choosing to believe in something that you believe to be as true is putting your faith in something. I don't think we get to choose our beliefs. I think that we're either convinced enough of something to warrant a belief or we're not. You can want to believe something, and you might be able to kind of trick yourself into believing or thinking that you believe, but if you really, really look at it and ask yourself, you either believe or you don't. Give me a hot and toasty sub. Well, thank you. Marilyn got into my apps and long press apps and turn off all notifications. Have to. Hate notifications. Believing in atheism is still a belief. You don't believe in atheism. Atheism is just the lack of belief in a God. I don't have a reason to believe in God, so I don't believe in a God, because how am I supposed to believe in something I have no reason to believe? Therefore, I'm an atheist. I am going to end the live stream soon, though, just to warn you. Destroy the worldview and show how incoherent it is first through logic, philosophy. Therefore, you try to replace it with another religion. Not religion, with facts and evidence. You choose your belief. You choose to be atheist. You choose to believe nothing. Atheism isn't believing in nothing. That's a choice. What do you mean you don't get to choose? You don't get to choose what you believe. I can say the same thing about you. You want to believe in atheism, which is a belief in absolutely nothing. No, that's your choice. You choose to put your faith in atheism. None of that is correct. None of that is correct. You do not get to choose what you believe, ultimately. And there's no believing in atheism. Atheism is not a worldview. It's just a response to a claim. Atheism is the lack of belief in absolutely anything to me. Atheism is simply the lack of belief in a God. That's it. I mean, you can be an atheist and still believe in an afterlife or souls or spirits or whatever else. It's just the lack of belief in a God. Atheists can tend to be nihilistic. Ultimately, all humanity is probably going to die, and it's all going to amount to nothing. But we're here now, and it matters now. So let's make the most of it while we're still here. You seem really cool. I had to respond to atheism. Can you define the word convince? You seem really cool. I responded. Can I define the word convince? So, convince. It's one of those like basic words. Like when you like really get down to it, it's like one of those like base words. That, like you don't really. It just means to convince. Like it's one of those. It's hard to give a thing to it. Convince.
To make someone believe something.
To make someone believe something. Yeah. Give warrant to believe. Yeah. I think that's perfect. Get someone to believe something. all of that is correct, then all of that is correct. Then what do you put your faith in that's not atheism? If it's not Christianity, it's not Buddhism, you can't put your faith in facts because that's hard. No faith needed. I don't use faith. I live my life on reason to believe what I have reason to believe based on evidence.
Not everyone uses faith. Some people literally just use reason.
You seem to believe in atheism. It's quite clear and evident. You speak about it, talk about it. You claim you're atheist. So how is that not a belief in atheism? Atheism is not a worldview. That's how it is. It's a response to a claim. It's someone saying, if I told you that there is a giant pink dragon on the other side of this wall, would you believe me? And I don't have any reason. I don't have any evidence for you. It's just there. And I'm just telling you it's there. A lot of people probably wouldn't believe that. That's atheism. That's it.
You just don't believe. You're not convinced enough.
That is all it is someone saying, hey, there's a God out there, and me saying, I don't believe that because I don't have reason to. That is all atheism is. Atheism is absolutely a worldview. What do you think secular humanism comes from? Secular humanism is a worldview. And yes, they typically correlate with atheism. But atheism is one strict thing. It's like food, describing food. You're describing something, this bread is a type of pastry or whatever, or this cupcake is a type of pastry. What does that say about fish? Fish is also a food, but like it's not the same thing. It's not a pastry. It's not like, it doesn't have to exactly connect. Like, yes, cupcakes and fish go together in that they are food, but they're still kind of like separate things. That's kind of atheism and secular humanism. Atheism is just a lack of belief in a God, which often does rub shoulders, rub elbows with secular humanism. But secular humanism is a worldview. It means something completely different. Christianity is definitely a worldview. I agree with you. You keep saying the word worldview without being able to articulate what you mean. Worldview, belief system, system of beliefs, way of seeing the world, system of beliefs. There is belief, truth, and justice that form knowledge. So atheism is knowing that good isn't there. So it's still a belief. Atheism is just a lack of belief in a God. It's just a response to a claim. I do think it is time for me to go. I gave that warning. It's late. I gotta get up early. I gave a warning a few minutes ago. I would love to sit here and talk all night. I would. This is like my least favorite part of the live stream, especially when like we're really having conversations. If you're having conversations with other people, feel free to continue that. I post these live streams after I end them, so there'll be videos. So if you're having a conversation with someone, you can continue those conversations in that comment section. I don't usually read. I read comments. I don't usually respond to comments, so you won't be able to like continue with me in the comments, just because I don't have the time of day. I don't to engage with people in comment sections. I wish I did. That's why I make videos. That's why I sometimes read comments in my lives. Try to get to them, but I can't have those conversations. And there's another reason I do these live streams, so I can have that conversation, because I like the conversations, and the conversations are important. I also do live streams. I usually do a live stream every week, every Tuesday night at around 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I had to move it this week because my schedule went all different. But I also try to do sporadic live streams throughout the week. So, and I mean, sometimes I don't get to do my Tuesday live stream, and I don't do any other live streams. But usually I'll do at least one live stream a week, sometimes up to like 2 or 3. So I'll be around. I'll be here. Be happy to keep talking to any of you in future live streams. This was a really good live stream. 13 likes is crazy. I'm a very small content creator. So that's big numbers for me. And chat was really going. So that's cool. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the conversations. Thank you for everything. For even just, you know, I'm just a random nobody on the internet. So anytime anybody gives me even a second of their time, I think it's cool. But you know, when people stick around or give me 16 likes now, or subscribe or whatever, it's cool. I like it, and I also like it, like Silent Echo. I think somebody said that they subscribed. One of the Christians. I have some Christians that subscribe to my channel. I think that's fucking cool. That I get people who disagree with me who regularly come around to converse with me. I think that's really cool. I think that says good things. I want to be the type of person who can. I don't want to be one of those content creators who just completely shits on Christianity and says you're all stupid and whatnot. I want to have conversations. I'm going to respond, and sometimes my responses might seem condescending, and I'm sorry. But you know, I want to have that conversation. So the fact that I have Christians that keep coming back, and Muslims and, you know, other theists keep coming back, is really, really cool. And it's telling me that I'm doing the thing that I want to do. That the channel is what I want it to be. So thank you. Anyway, long thank yous for being here. I hope you have an amazing rest of your night, day, whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you around, maybe.